Hello students. In our previous lectures on infiltration, we looked into various equations, specifically Phillips equation and Horton's equation to estimate infiltration. And then we also looked at one approach which is more physically interpretable, and we called it as Green-Empt method to estimate rates of infiltration. But one common thing that we noticed with both these approaches that the end equations to estimate either F, which is total infiltration, or infiltration rate, they were either coming out to be exponential or they were having power of t to the power 1 by 2. In case of Green-Emps equation, we ended up with a logarithmic form, which again can be related to exponential form and so on. But one common pattern was that all these approaches were non-linear functions in F. Now, when we are looking into the concept of infiltration from engineering perspective, our main objective is to determine runoff, where runoff basically means that once precipitation happens, there would be some losses, there would be some infiltration that would happen, or water will enter into ground, and whatever is left, that is precipitation minus infiltration, that would be presented to us as runoff, and it will ultimately join our channels or rivers, and we have to do engineering or account for these flows for our engineering practices. So question arises, can we come up with some approximation, although not as accurate as the methods that we have discussed like Green-Emps or Hortons, but can we approximate this non-linear exponential behavior that I have drawn here with using some approximate linearization of this decay by putting some line and say that throughout the storm, this is the average value of index we are going to use, such that we are not violating the principles. Principles would mean that the amount of runoff that we would get from exact method should be fairly closer to the approximate method. And this being said, we have to linearize this entire system. To do that, we have to look into the concept of total rainfall versus effective rainfall. Now, in our first couple of modules, you were drawing hytographs. So hytographs is nothing but it's a plot of intensity of precipitation with respect to time. And when we talk about effective rainfall is defined as that rainfall which contributes to the runoff. For example, if we take another simple hytograph which only have three peaks, and initially we have much smaller peak and storm is building and it is varying. So this is intensity, this is time. And if we fit a Horton's equation of potential infiltration, it would look like this red line that I have drawn here. Now you can clearly see that although our amount of infiltration that is going to happen is higher, the because this is potential infiltration, but amount of rainfall that has happened is only this much. So this will directly go into the ground and this peak is not going to produce any runoff. On the other hand, when we go to the second histogram, you see that certain losses will happen. This water will enter into ground through process of infiltration, but the area that I am hatching right now in blue dot would be available as effective runoff. So this will contribute toward runoff. Similarly here, while this area which is hatched in red would percolate inside ground in form of infiltration, this hatched area in blue would be helping us generate R2 and so on. So we clearly see that while this total rainfall happened for delta T times 1, 2, 3, 5, out of that only 4 blocks contributed towards the generation of rainfall, towards the generation of runoff. And we say that while the total duration of storm is delta T times 5, effective duration of this storm is delta T times 4, because by definition this effective rainfall means whatever is contributing in runoff generation process. And since we have estimated this infiltration with help of a linear index as I just mentioned here, but we can define that linear index as phi index, which is given to be P effective minus R divided by T, and this should be equal to phi index. Hence we can write that P effective should be equal to R plus P effective into phi index, which implies that a runoff can be estimated as P minus T effective into phi. Now here, when we talk about this P effective, we are essentially talking about only those peaks that are contributing towards runoff generation process. And to illustrate this point further, let us try to look at this with help of an example. So here we say that there is a storm with 10 centimeter of precipitation and it produces a direct runoff of 5.8 centimeter. The duration of rainfall was 16 hours in total and time distribution is given below. So we have a table where we have time in hours, we have cumulative rainfall in centimeters, and over 16 hours we know how much amount of precipitation is happening. Now this is cumulative rainfall and it clearly indicates that this is a mass curve. We can convert this mass curve to Hydrograph by taking zero point 0.4 minus 0 divided by total duration between that these two blocks, which comes out to be 2, and hence intensity would be 0.2 centimeter per hour. From 1.3 minus 0.4 we will have 0.45, as 1.3 minus 0.4 is 0.9 divided by duration equal to 2, and so on. So this is the rough Hydrograph that we end up with. Now the question is, what is the phi index for this particular storm, as we already know the runoff. So again we will go to the equation. PE minus R divided by PE should be equal to phi. Now here are two unknowns. We of course do not know what is phi index because that's the question, and also we are not sure that which all of these peaks are going to contribute towards the TE, or which are actually resulting in contribution towards runoff. So for example, if we assume in first case that our phi index lies somewhere here, that would mean that since this phi index is cutting across all these pillars, the effective duration can be taken as 8 hours. So we can start with first assumption, as that let us assume that our all these blocks are contributing towards generation of runoff. So TE is equal to 8 times 2, which is 16, because the duration of each of this block is 2 hours, and intensity over this 2 hours we have already calculated as 0.2, 0.45, 0.75, and so on. Now total runoff is not going to change because runoff is characteristic of storm and it is given as 5.8 centimeter. So if we have to calculate PE minus R upon TE equal to phi, which implies R is equal to E minus phi TE. Since all these peaks are contributing towards generation of runoff, so we can write this effective precipitation as total volume of precipitation directly here, minus phi times 10, 5 times 16, which implies upon simplification we get the value of phi, as R is also known as 5.8 centimeter. So after doing the math, we get this phi index as 0.263 centimeter per hour. Now you see that we made an assumption that all these peaks are contributing towards generation of runoff, and only those peaks which have magnitude. So any peak, or any block I should say, not peak, has intensity greater than phi index would be able to contribute towards generation of runoff, as we just discussed. But you see that we at least have two blocks here which have value lesser than the calculated phi. So this 0.2 is not going to contribute. That means this first block is not going to contribute, and second block is also not going to contribute. Hence the assumed position of phi index is incorrect. So what we will do, we will do another iteration and try to say that no, that is not correct. So let us assume that our phi index is somewhere at a higher position and it is going from here, and this is the second location of phi index, where TE is equal to 6 times 2, which is 12 hours, and only peaks this one, this one, this, and this one is contributing towards generation of effective rainfall. So towards generation of runoff. So what we will do now, we will say that this is equal to 5.8, and we will not use this block. We will not use this block. So we will use 0.45 multiply by 2 plus 0.75 multiply by 2 plus 1.15 multiply by 2 plus 0.9 multiply by 2 plus 0.8 multiply by 2 plus 0.5 multiply by 2, and this should be subtracted from 12.5. So these are all the peaks above our threshold, assumed threshold of 5, and of course 12.5 is because now only 6 peaks are contributing towards generation of runoff. Again, I'm using this word peak and blocks interchangeably in this context because, but I wanted to mention that these peaks are basically the blocks of our hydrograph. Now, if we calculate this phi index, our value comes out to be 0.275 centimeter per hour. And again, we will check that all the peaks that we have assumed here should have values higher than phi index, and hence the assumption of TE equal to 6 times 2 is correct, and hence the phi index for this storm is going to be 0.25 centimeter per hour, and this is our answer. So this completes our discussion around the topic of infiltration, and we are all set to move into our discussions on runoff, and this would be covered in the module titled surface flow. Thank you.